You want to put boundaries around the way you interface with other team members in such a way that you can be helpful to them while still getting your work done. In-house wise, you can't say no to person X from department Y if they are having a problem you can fix or explain in a few minutes that stops them from doing their job. Totally disagree. You can say no. You can say no to whatever you want. Now, of course, there will be consequences to that. And I'm not telling everybody to go out there and say no to everybody that you work with. That could lead to negative consequences. And I get it. I get what you're saying here, that like, listen, I have people depending on me. I can't just ignore them. I can't just put my headphones on and ignore them. And it is true. We have to communicate with people on our teams, but that doesn't mean that we can't create boundaries. For example, I was thinking this is kind of an extreme example. This is sort of a bad example, but if you're a surgeon, sure, your customer, who is the patient's family, would love to be able to come in and get a status update on how things are going, but they're not allowed to do that, because doing that, while it may make them feel better, will actually hurt the end result, the end product, which is the quality of the surgery. I know that's an extreme example, probably not the greatest example. I'm trying to think of better examples on the fly, but they're not coming to mind. But there are a number of ways in which it might help somebody to do X, Y, and Z. It might help an employee to be able to sit next to you all day long and learn from everything you're doing. But there's going to be boundaries on what you can do. You want to help them, but you want to put boundaries around the way you interface with other team members in such a way that you can be helpful to them while still getting your work done, which is what you're paid to do. So the point here is just, you can say no, you can push back. It might be awkward. And if you haven't set that expectation for the past X number of years, it's going to be really hard to change that expectation. To be honest, this is a much easier expectation to set if you set it from the get-go, whether that's your first day on the job, your first day with a new client. People are so much better at dealing with expectations that are set up front versus if they're used to being able to interrupt you every 2 minutes and then that changes, everybody's going to be upset. Now, I still think it's the right thing to do and it'll take time to get there, but it will be a lot harder to do.